Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The ceremony will begin in a few minutes.
Please feel free to fill in any open seats.
Where are they?
I guess there's just like ones and twos. It's fine. Never mind.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Brigadier General Eric Gagnon, Assistant Adjutant General, Army. On behalf of the Vermont National Guard leadership, welcome to today's Change of Command ceremony, in which the reins and leadership and responsibility of the Vermont National Guard will pass from Major General Gregory C. Knight to Brigadier General Henry U. Harder, Jr. We are delighted to have you with us this afternoon to observe this significant milestone in the proud history of the Vermont National Guard. First, some administrative notes. At this time, please turn off or silence all cell phones and electronic devices. Restrooms are located in the main hallway in which you entered the building. In case of an emergency, please exit through the doorway in which you entered or the doors to the rear of the hangar. Please keep in mind that terrain may be uneven if you choose to utilize one of those exits. Finally, as this is an indoor ceremony, military members will stand at attention and will not salute during the national anthem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able for the arrival of the official party, presentation of the colors, and singing of the national anthem. Present the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming? whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please take your seats. Thank you to our Joint Forces Color Guard. At this time, I would like to recognize our official party, the Governor of the State of Vermont, the Honorable Philip B. Scott, outgoing Adjutant General of the Vermont National Guard, Major General Gregory C. Knight, incoming Adjutant General of the Vermont National Guard, Brigadier General Henry U. Harder, Jr., Vermont National Guard Command Senior Enlisted Leader, Command Sergeant Major Raymond Myers. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests in attendance today. Please hold your applause until they have all been introduced. His Excellency Zoran Popov, Ambassador of the Republic of North Macedonia to the United States, General Rudolf Striedinger, Chief of Defense, Republic of Austria, Major General Shashko Luchiski, Chief of Defense, Republic of North Macedonia, Senator Patrick Leahy, representing Senator Bernard Sanders, Miss Maggie Burke, representing Senator Peter Welch, Mr. James McNerney, Congressman Becca Ballant, Lieutenant Governor John Rogers, Lieutenant General retired Michael Doobie. We would also like to welcome all Vermont state senators and representatives, current and past adjutant generals from Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, Vermont, Tennessee, Maine, and Nevada, as well as all current and past National Guard leadership. Major General Knight's family, wife Tracy, his sons Jason, who is currently deployed with Task Force Alpine, Griffin, and Cooper, his daughter Colby, and her husband Danny. Brigadier General Harder's family, wife Natalie, his daughter Haley, sons Henry and Charlie. We also welcome all general officers, commanders, Gold Star families, honorary commanders, chiefs, retirees, and members of the Vermont Guard family in attendance today. At this time, I would like to invite Chaplain Michael Meadis to come forward to give the invocation. Please rise.
I invite you to prayer. Today, as the guidon passes, we praise and thank you in your presence, O God, for the steadfast leadership of Major General Knight and the value he has shown for every soldier and airman. Bless him and his family with your abiding peace, and assure them that their years of sacrifice have strengthened this state and safeguarded the freedoms we cherish as a nation. As one who embodies service before self, bless General Harder and his family as he assumes this sacred trust. At this moment of global conflict, grant him divine wisdom in every decision. Watch over him and all Green Mountain Boys, especially those currently deployed and their families who await their safe return. God bless the Vermont National Guard, our great state where freedom and unity endure, and may God bless the United States of America. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Meadus. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Today we will observe the promotion of the incoming Adjutant General, Brigadier General Henry U. Harder, Jr., the change of command ceremony of the Vermont National Guard, and the retirement of the outgoing Adjutant General, Major General Gregory C. Knight. We will begin by honoring Brigadier General Henry U. Harder, Jr. on the occasion of his promotion to the rank of Major General. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you are able for the publishing of the order. Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Air Force, has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, integrity, and abilities of Brigadier General Henry U. Harder, Jr. In view of these special qualities and his demonstrated potential to serve in the higher grade, Brigadier General Henry U. Harder, Jr. is promoted to the grade of Major General, United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Haley, Charlie, and Henry, will you please come forward and pin on Major General Harder's new rank? Major General Knight will now administer the oath of office to General Harder. Congratulations, Major General Harder. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Governor of Vermont, the Honorable Philip B. Scott.
Good afternoon, everyone. Wonderful to be here. I'd like to start by acknowledging that as we gather today, there are Guard members deployed around the world. This week, the press asked me about my thoughts in regards to the current conflict in the Middle East. I said, we should all make sure the families of those deployed have the support and resources they need while their loved ones are away. Now, I'm sure that wasn't what the press wanted to hear. They were after some controversy. But I know I don't have to remind any of you of the importance of all of us remembering the sacrifices the families are making. Because in uncertain times, one thing must remain constant, and that's our commitment to the families of Guard members who find themselves far from home so they can stay focused on their mission. That's something all Vermonters should agree on, and my team and I are ready to assist those who may need our help. As governor, this is the second change of command ceremony I've had the privilege of being part of. And serving as the Commander-in-Chief of the Vermont National Guard is truly one of my highest honors. To play a role in overseeing the talented men and women of the Guard as they step up to serve our community, state, and nation is a privilege. There are no politics involved when they answer the call, no matter what the circumstances. In my office, we talk a lot about the role of government, and at its best, government exists to solve problems and help people. To me, there's no greater example of that than the Vermont National Guard. And since the last time we gathered to mark the change of command, we've seen the skill and versatility of our Guard under exceptional leadership. General Knight took the post at a time of challenge and change, and he accepted that mission with a positive attitude and a realistic understanding of the need to adapt to a new environment. General Knight has accomplished his mission, and somehow, throughout it all, has kept his good humor and his smile. The last 7 years hasn't been easy. We've experienced devastating flooding, a global pandemic, a major cyber attack on our largest hospital. And in each case, the Guard was crucial to our response. And that's on top of the countless missions and deployments around the globe. Because of General Knight's efforts, the Guard's profile in Vermont and in the State House is high as we work to control and attract the next generation of the Guard and confront whatever comes our way. Most importantly, he's been a tireless advocate for those under his command and their families, helping to secure education benefits, medical and mental health support, tax relief for military families and retirees, all while increasing accountability, transparency, and support for the Guard. And those of us who've worked side by side with him know it's clear he's a true believer when it comes to supporting this institution, its members, and Vermont, because he's a warrior first and foremost. I should also mention, as you well know, he's a prolific recruiter, and he's stolen at least 2 members from my office alone. And I'm sure he's still working on a few more. In fact, when we came in just now, came to the back door, came in, and one of my executive protection unit people were there, and he went over to try and recruit them. I finally had to pull rank on him and say, enough, and it's enough. I want to thank General Knight in all sincerity for his steadfast commitment to Vermonters, and it's truly, truly been a pleasure and honor to work with you. Thank you so much. Today, we begin a new chapter with a new leader and who I'm positive shares the same dedication and understanding of what lies ahead. General Hank Harder's service to our nation has proven him to be a distinguished leader with the right character and curiosity to continue the work of guiding the Guard into the future, maintaining readiness, reputation, and constantly working to support the men and women of the Guard. As I've learned in my time as governor, as well as my career in racing, you need to surround yourself with a good team, with each of them pulling in the same direction in order to come out on top. Everyone doing their job and understanding you can't win a race on the first lap, and the driver can't do it alone. But with the right chemistry the right equipment, and the right strategy, you'll be there at the end to claim victory. I share the legislature's confidence in your ability to lead this important institution, and my team and I stand ready to support you. Last week, on March 4th, Vermont celebrated 235 years of statehood. That history is marked by the contributions and sacrifice of our National Guard. Even before statehood, it was the Green Mountain Boys who fought for freedom and unity. From Ticonderoga and Bennington, Cedar Creek and Gettysburg, through 2 world wars, the War on Terror, Vermonters have always been there, ready, willing, and able to protect our nation, our freedoms, and our people. Today is another important day in that history as we move forward with new leadership and a renewed commitment to Vermont. I want to thank you again, General Knight, and I want to congratulate you, General Harder. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Scott. It is my distinct honor to welcome the Adjutant General of the Vermont National Guard, Major General Gregory C. Knight.
Thanks, everybody. I know the acoustics are a little tough in here, so I'll try to make it so everybody can hear. Before I make my comments, as the governor noted, I'd like to remind everyone our thoughts and prayers should be with our deployed colleagues and their families right now. None of us can predict where this ends, but we must maintain our vigilance here at home and take care of those who have volunteered to serve our nation. I'd like to give special thanks to our Air Guard for hosting this event and everybody who helped set it up. It takes a lot of time and effort. Ms. Tammy Mercier, Mr. Chris Ruggiero, Lieutenant Colonel Chris Howard, Lieutenant Ben Chris, our amazing 40th Army Band, Nicole Citro, Master Sergeant Zach Rutenberg. Didn't he do a phenomenal job with the national anthem? Are you kidding me? That's like his only job in the Air Guard. And there are many others involved in making all of this happen. And Eric, thank you so much for being the Master of Ceremonies. I really appreciate it. As I reflect on 7 years as the Adjutant General, there are things I meant to accomplish, and there's some things I didn't get to. But there's still time to correct at least one last thing. Eric, would you ask our special guest to come up? I'm hoping he's here today. You want to use mine?
Disobeying is, oh, here we go.
There you go.
Here we go.
There he is.
Not disobeying, sir. My apologies. My apologies, everyone. As Major General Knight's final act as the Adjutant General, I would like to ask Commanding Sergeant Major retired Gerald Marcus to come forward for the presentation of the Order of St. George.
Is Gary here? Gary Marcus? Well, that's awkward. Anyway. I will catch up with Gary later. So, you know, July 11th, 1983, 43 and a half years ago, I raised my right hand to swear an oath for the first time to defend the Constitution of the United States. Today, I stand before you not to mark an ending, but rather to celebrate a continuum, one that began long before any of us wore the uniform, and it will endure long after we hang it up. To me, this is simply not my retirement ceremony. It's a moment to reflect on service, what it means, who it belongs to, and what must endure long after any one of us steps aside. I'm deeply grateful to have served alongside extraordinary professionals in uniform and out, and to the families who carried the weight of service right alongside them. Nothing in a military career is accomplished alone. It's never about one person. It's about the people, the mission, and what endures after we step aside. I know I would not have gotten here without all the support and guidance I received over those 4 decades. And it is simply impossible to recognize everyone that's had an impact on my career. Now, for sure, I'm going to reflect on some of those highlights, but no, I'm going to miss a lot of people, and that's not out of malice or forgetfulness, although forgetfulness actually is a thing. But there are many to thank. My military and law enforcement colleagues, our civic leaders, legislators, executives, educators, neighbors, all of whom I've truly been blessed to know. And of course, my wife Tracy and my kids. You've always supported me, encouraged me, and stood by me. I'm proud of you all and I love you. You're amazing. And I know I haven't always been there when I should have been. I will try to make that up to you. Of all the titles and ranks that I have been called, and I can assure you I've been called a lot of things, husband, father, and papa are the most important. Tracy, thanks for taking a chance on me. So let's talk about servant leadership. Over 4 decades, I've learned that military leadership is an act of temporary stewardship. We're not owners of our positions, we're caretakers. Each star on a shoulder, each stripe on a sleeve represents not privilege, but obligation. Not importance, but responsibility. Commanders do not have power, they have responsibility. Commanders make decisions because they are responsible for the outcome. Servant leadership is not a philosophy that we discuss in conference rooms. It's showing up at 3 a.m. to load equipment because that's what the mission requires. It's the company commander who knows every soldier's spouse's name. It's the deployed chief master sergeant spending Christmas Eve not with their own family, but making sure their airmen can call theirs. It's understanding that the phrase, mission first, people always, isn't a contradiction. It's a covenant. I've seen people exemplify servant leadership in some of the most challenging places on earth. I saw it in Mark Procopio, who without hesitation responded with his combat patrol to a downed Marine Super Cobra in Jazeera, Iraq, with the status of the crew unknown. Mark's soldiers followed him, not because they had to, because they wanted to. Mark lost his life during that response, placing the lives of others before himself. I saw it in Staff Sergeant Joe Proctor from Indiana, who was at Observation Post 293 in Tamim, Iraq, when it was attacked by mortar fire in a suicide-borne vehicle IED, a dump truck laden with explosives. It was ramming the gate. Joe could have taken cover, but he knew that if the truck penetrated the compound, many of his colleagues would be killed in the catastrophic explosion. He also knew the risk to his own life. Despite this, Joe stood his ground, engaging the truck with his rifle, causing the vehicle to detonate before penetrating further into the compound. Joe was killed, posthumously received the Silver Star. It's hard to say how many lives he saved in service to his colleagues. You know, I could be here for a long time providing you with examples, but just know that there are many, many more. 14 from Ramadi alone. Servant leadership is not a slogan. It's a daily decision. is listening before speaking. It is developing others before advancing yourself. It is placing your own body in harm's way to protect others. It is placing the needs of the organization above personal recognition, because it isn't about you. You are not the point. Every leader should be preparing their successor, not someday, not when retirement approaches, every day. If the mission depends on one person, then leadership has failed. If progress stops when a leader departs, stewardship is incomplete. To the soldiers and airmen of the Vermont National Guard, it is you who have answered the call from Tropical Storm Irene's flooding to Afghanistan's mountains and the deserts and cities of Iraq, from COVID testing sites in Burlington to the halls of the Capitol on January 6th. Service is not what we do, it's who we are. The institution must always be stronger than the individual, and the people must always be prepared to carry forward without pause. That leads to one of the most important principles I've learned in uniform. It's one that can feel uncomfortable, but is essential to true leadership. Military leaders are designed to be replaced. So let's talk about the replacement principle. It's not a criticism. It's the design. It's the strength of the profession. The continuity of service depends on it. The Vermont National Guard existed for 178 years before I took command. It will exist for centuries after. My job was never to be indispensable. It was to ensure I became unnecessary. The greatest failure of leadership is creating an organization that cannot succeed without you. So think about it. Everyone inherited our position from someone else. Every leader who takes command steps into a position that existed before them and will exist after them. It is those who trained soldiers and airmen, made hard decisions, and then, when their time came, stepped aside with grace. They understood what we must understand. The uniform is on loan. The mission endures. Our duty is to hand both the uniform and the mission forward in better condition than when we received them. The mantle of leadership doesn't belong to us. We borrow it for a time, and our responsibility is to leave it stronger for the next person who wears it. That's succession planning, not a document in a desk drawer, but daily acts of trust. Not waiting until retirement looms, but preparing your replacement now, every day. Every professional development session, every after-action review, every moment you choose to teach rather than just direct, these are investments in continuity. I've had a lot of time to reflect here in the past few weeks. I've learned far more from the people I've served with than I could have ever taught. From enlisted professionals whose expertise and dedication defined excellence, from peers who challenged assumptions and sharpened judgment, from mentors who pushed me when it mattered most, and from families who demonstrated resilience that no training can fully prepare us for. While I'm proud of what our Guards accomplished in the past 7 years, that doesn't belong to me. It belongs to our subordinate leaders, our soldiers, and our airmen. They make this organization better. My pride is in this team, not in personal accomplishments. Now, there are a few I'd like to recognize, and these are people who have taught me a great deal about many things. This will take a few minutes. Governor Scott, thank you for your pragmatic leadership and for allowing me to do my job. Grateful for your trust in me in leading our Guard. Senator Leahy and Marcel, and members of our congressional delegation, thank you for your consistent support and advocacy. Brigadier General Mark Lovejoy, thank you for always challenging me. Thank you for your leadership and sacrifice in Ramadi and your excruciating attention to detail. Brigadier General Tom Drew, thank you for your understated approach to all things leadership. It was actually Tom Drew who gave me some solid advice during my time as a recruiting battalion commander. When we were having a few rough months in recruiting, General Drew stopped by to check in to see if he could help. After I provided the update to him, General Drew thanked me for the information. He looked me in the eye, and he said, "Thanks for the update. Get it done or I'll find somebody who can." It's really hard to replace that level of candor. I think that's where the term pucker factor came in. Brigadier General Brian Carpenter, thank you for ensuring I didn't take the job I wanted to pursue the career you saw in me. To Major General Will Roy, thank you for being the leadership standard and exemplifying dogged support for soldiers and the resources they needed to do the work our nation asked of them. To Brigadier General Joel Clark, Craig Campbell, Steve Lambrecht, thank you for your friendship, trust, and teaching me about our incredible Air National Guard. Colonel Darrell Ducharme, thank you for never giving me the answer to a problem. Always simply saying, "I'm sure you'll make the best decision, and you'll make a decision in the best interest of the organization." To Colonel Tim Williams, Terry Lambert, and Tom Palermo, thanks for hiring me. To the Chief Warrant Officers and NCOs, past and present at every level, thank you for mentoring me, providing professional candor, lending expertise in one-on-one counseling sessions. I owe you more than I can easily capture here. To the soldiers and veterans of Task Force Sabre, you have my undying respect and love. I will continue to tell your story. It needs to be shared. Americans have a short memory. I intend to remind them. To John Capusta, Mark Rocco, Chris Poulin, Shannon Gregg, Sherman Hunt, Ken Gregg, Sarah Paletti, Dan Pipes, Chris Evans, Carl Hausler, and so very many more. Thank you for your decades of friendship. It really means the world to me. You know, as I look back, it was actually Dan Pipes, who I've known for more than 30 years, who taught me the value of giving someone the shirt off your back and then reminding him about it for the next 10 years. Thanks to my neighbors and friends, Tina and Joe, Katie, Brenda and Jeff, the Pendris family, the Bushies, the Burretts, the Scotts, Linda, Jason and Paul Pecor, Mike and Laura O'Brien, Holly Lynn Buzzier, Alan, Juanita, Andrea, and so many others. You make Vermont a community and exemplify true friendship. My VFW and American Legion colleagues, thank you for your perpetual patriotism, advocacy, and friendship. Special thanks to Mike Choquette, even though he's Navy, Kelly Donaldson and Karina Colson for their friendship. My media partners, thank you for giving us the audience and venue to share our story. Transparency matters. To our state partners, some of who joined us today, General Streetinger and the delegation from Austria, General Lavchisky, Ambassador Popov, and the delegation from North Macedonia, and to our colleagues from Senegal who couldn't join us today. You are the example of leadership the rest of the world should be paying attention to. Our partnerships are strong because of you. To my Adjutant General colleagues, thank you for your leadership. Major General Franivan, knowing you has truly been a blessing. Thank you for stepping up and taking a job that nobody wanted. Major General Andre Berry, you, my friend, are a gift. Rarely have I met someone with your positive approach to the world. I appreciate your friendship. To our soldiers and airmen, you've made my job easy, usually. Your dedication, professionalism, and expertise have set the bar. It's truly been an honor to share your story. You are exceptional. And to the late Brigadier General Mike Heston, who I recognized perhaps too late, constantly challenged me, pushing me to a job I didn't know I wanted or to a school I didn't think I needed. Mike would call me, tell me what I was going to do, and I would object. And usually, in his Rhode Island accent, Mike would say, "Nida, you're not hearing me." I never won the argument because Mike was right. It was Mike Heston who encouraged me to run for Adjutant General when it simply wasn't on my list of things to do. Mike always saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Mike is why I'm here today. Wearing his uniform, given to me by his wife, June. June, I hope I made Mike proud. General Harder, Hank, what you inherit is not just a position, but a legacy of excellence that has been built through blood, sweat, sacrifice, and service. You inherit leaders at every level who understand that taking care of soldiers and airmen isn't just good leadership, it's a moral imperative. You inherit the finest National Guard force in these United States. And that's not a gift from me, that's from them. They did that. I was here to be the steward of their excellence, their advocate, and their storyteller. I've seen the character, professionalism, and the commitment of those who will carry this responsibility forward. The organization is strong. The mission is secure. The future is in capable hands. To the leaders who will follow, you will face challenges we cannot yet imagine. Technology will evolve, threats will shift, the character of war will change. But what will not change is this: Vermont will need guardians. Communities will need citizens in uniform. The nation that will need citizens who answer when called. Lead with your ears, not your ego. The private or airman who just joined last month sees something you don't, so listen to them. Invest in people relentlessly. In an age of artificial intelligence and autonomous systems, remember that trust, judgment, and moral courage cannot be programmed. They must be cultivated leader by leader, soldier by soldier, and airman by airman. Make decisions for the organization that will outlive you, not for the evaluation that won't. Your legacy isn't what you build, it's who you build up. And when your time comes to step aside, and it will come, do so with the same grace you expected of those before you. The mission doesn't pause for ceremonies. To the families here today, you've served without wearing the uniform. You've taken care of things at home through deployments, disasters, and those many ordinary Tuesday nights when duty called unexpectedly. Every medal earned, every mission accomplished, your sacrifice is woven into that. This nation owes you a debt it can never fully repay, but today let me try with two words that probably don't say enough. Thank you. To my Vermont National Guard family, you've taught me that Vermonters take care of Vermonters isn't just a motto, it's a mission statement. From pulling neighbors from floodwaters to standing watch in distant lands, you've embodied the citizen-soldier ideal that has defined this nation since Lexington and Concord. You are ready. Not getting ready, not almost ready, always ready. The ceremony is not a goodbye, it's a changing of the guard. It's one of the most natural things in a service member's life. As I prepare to render my final salute as your Adjutant General, I do so in perfect peace. It's not because the work is done, because it never is, but because yours continues. The 18-year-old that enlisted last week will one day be the sergeant major who shapes generations of future guardsmen. The lieutenant learning to brief today will command a battalion tomorrow. The airman maintaining aircraft tonight will become the chief, ensuring missions will fly for decades to come. What greater outcome could any leader hope for? This is the beautiful paradox of military service. We serve to make ourselves unnecessary. We lead to create leaders. We guard today so others can guard tomorrow. To my teammates, past and present, thank you for your trust, your partnership, and your example. To my family, thank you for the sacrifices that made this journey possible. And to those who continue to serve, may you lead with humility, courage, and an unwavering commitment to something greater than yourselves. And to all of you who exhibited such loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage, thank you for the honor and privilege of serving alongside you. May God bless the Vermont National Guard, and may God bless these United States. Thank you.
Thank you, General Knight. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the change of command. The change of command ceremony is a military tradition that is rich with symbolism and heritage, dating back to medieval times when soldiers often carried staffs or standards into battle that identified them as a unit. Throughout military history, unit colors have marked the position of the commander on the battlefield and served as a rallying point. While attacking or rallying on the battlefield, soldiers would follow the standard or guidon of their leader, most often found at the forward edge of the battleground. In more recent times, the colors represent not only the heritage and history of the unit, but also the unity and loyalty of its soldiers. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing his responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, the colors are also. The passing of the state's colors represents the transfer of authority and responsibility from the state from one commander to another. The Green Mountain Boy flag is being used in today's ceremony, was flown over the capital of Vermont and in the skies above, carried in the cockpit of an F-35 and aboard a Black Hawk helicopter. It was flown at the U.S. embassies of our state partnership countries in the Republic of North Macedonia, Senegal, and Austria, a symbol of Major General Knight's enduring legacy of strengthening our foundation while extending Vermont's influence abroad. The state's Command Sergeant Major leader is the keeper of the state's colors. As the senior enlisted soldier in the state, he is the principal advisor to the commander and represents the loyalty and concerns of the soldiers and airmen of Vermont. The passing of the colors from the state command senior enlisted leader to the outgoing commander signifies his last act of allegiance to the outgoing commander. The passing of the colors from the outgoing commander to the state's commander-in-chief signifies that Vermont National Guard is never without leadership. The passing of the colors from the state's commander-in-chief to the incoming commander signifies the passing of his trust and also the responsibility for the Vermont National Guard and its soldiers and airmen. The passing of the colors from the new commander to the state command senior enlisted leader signifies the confidence that the commander places in the non-commissioned officer corps and is Command Sergeant Major Meyer's first act of allegiance to the new commander. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Adjutant General, Vermont National Guard, Major General Henry U. Harder, Jr.
Thank you. Thank you. Governor Scott, Major General Knight, distinguished guests, soldiers, airmen, families, and friends, thank you for all being here today. Also a special shout out to our partners from Austria and the Republic of North Macedonia, our elected representatives, and Senator Leahy and Marcel, thank you so much for being here. It is so great to see so many familiar and friendly faces of family, friends, retirees, and colleagues. Governor Scott, thank you for your trust and confidence for the opportunity to serve Vermont in this role. It means a great deal to me, and I'm grateful for the responsibility you have placed in my hands. I also want to recognize the many people who made today possible, as General Knight mentioned. A ceremony like this does not just happen overnight. It represents months of planning, coordination, and dedication from a team working behind the scenes. To everyone who helped organize this event, thank you for the professionalism and care that you put into it. And General Finnegan, I don't want to disappoint you, so let's have a round of applause for those folks. Before I go any further, I want to recognize those who cannot be here with us today. Across the globe, the members of the Vermont Air and Army National Guard are currently deployed, many of them in harm's way. These men and women raised their right hand and swore an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Vermont. For some of them, that call to serve came just days before the holidays. They packed their bags, said goodbye to their families and loved ones, and left home to fulfill their obligation to serve this nation. Their sacrifice and the sacrifice of their families is profound. The strength of the Vermont National Guard rests not only with those who wear the uniform, but also on the families who support them and the communities that stand behind them. We all look forward to welcoming our deployed members back to Vermont when their missions are complete. I stand here today clear-eyed about the responsibility that comes with serving as Adjutant General. Leading this organization is the honor of a lifetime. But it is also solemn duty to the soldiers, airmen, and civilian professionals who make up this force. Major General Knight understood that responsibility deeply. General, you led with grace, empathy, and a clarity of purpose. Under your leadership, the Vermont National Guard stood ready to answer the call of both the state and the nation. Whether that meant deployments overseas or supporting Vermonters here at home in times of crisis. Your leadership has left the Vermont National Guard stronger, more capable, and ready for the future. It is an honor to follow in the path you have set. The people of Vermont owe you a deep debt of gratitude. And to Tracy and the Knight family, no one serves alone. Military service is always a family commitment. Thank you for supporting Greg as he gave his time, energy, and heart to the Vermont National Guard. I'd like to bestow a few items of recognition to my family for their supporting me for this 36 years and a few more years. So, Senior Master Sergeant Verano, just a few items of thank you to Natalie, Haley, Henry, and Charlie for always being there and supporting me. To the soldiers, airmen, and civilian professionals of the Vermont National Guard, I promise you this: I will work every day to ensure you have the time, the resources, and the support you need to train and succeed in both your federal and state missions. The Vermont National Guard is at its very best when we are ready. Ready to defend this nation abroad, and ready to serve our neighbors here at home. Vermonters have seen that time and time again. Tropical Storm Irene, during the COVID-19 pandemic, during the devastating floods of 2023 and 2024. Each time our communities needed help, the Vermont National Guard stepped forward, working alongside our first responders, state agencies, and local leaders to protect our fellow citizens and help Vermont recover. As we look to the future, my priorities will guide how I approach these responsibilities. These priorities are strength, readiness, resilience, and respect. Strength means building and sustaining a force that is capable, professional, and proud to serve. It means recruiting talented people into our ranks and investing in the development of our soldiers and airmen. Readiness means being prepared for whatever mission comes next, whether that mission takes us overseas in defense of the nation or places us here at home responding to disasters that affect our communities locally. Resilience. Resilience means taking care of our people and their families, ensuring they have the support they need to endure the challenges that come with military service, and to thrive in both in and out of uniform. And finally, respect. Respect means honoring the dignity and contributions of every soldier, airman, and civilian professional who serves in this organization. Respect for one another is the foundation of trust, and trust is what makes us and makes all great teams possible. These priorities require commitment and action from every one of us. So my call to the Vermont National Guard is this: build strength in your units by mentoring the next generation of leaders. Take pride in your professionalism and hold yourselves to the highest standards. Seek ideas for improvement and innovation from some of your youngest soldiers and airmen. They often have a fresh perspective that can benefit all of us. Maintain readiness by training hard and preparing for the missions that we know are coming and for the ones we cannot yet see. Demonstrate resilience by looking out for one another. Take care of your teammates and your families, because a strong force is built on strong people. Above all, show respect for the uniform, for the mission, and for one another. Because when we treat each other with dignity and professionalism, we become the kind of organization that others want to be a part of, and that Vermonters can trust in their greatest times of need. If we live these principles, strength, readiness, resilience, and respect, I am confident that the Vermont National Guard will continue to be one of the finest National Guard organizations in the country. This spirit of service runs deep in a state, and it has throughout our history. In April of 1861, at the very beginning of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln reached out to then Vermont Governor Erastus Fairbanks. to ask what support the Union could expect from our small state. Governor Fairbanks replied with a simple but powerful message: Vermont will do its full duty. Those 6 words captured the spirit of Vermont then, and they continue to define the spirit of the Vermont National Guard today. Governor Scott, sir, I look forward to serving Vermont in this role. Major General Knight, you have positioned this organization for continued success. Thanks again to you and Tracy for your leadership and for your sacrifice. And as Vermonters have done for generations in moments of challenge and service, I will close with those same words spoken more than 160 years ago. Vermont will do its full duty. Thank you.
Please be seated. At this time, we surpass the 2,700 word mark in the script. We recognize General Harder's promotion, and we witness the change of command of Vermont's Adjutant General. Before we move to the final event, General Knight's retirement, I have the privilege of briefly stepping off-piste to introduce a video showcasing the Vermont National Guard's depth, breadth, and impact here at home, across the nation, and around the world. Despite our youthful looks, General Knight and I are not young soldiers. We first met over 3 decades ago in officer candidate school. Since then, as our careers crisscrossed, I've had a front row seat to the leadership, integrity, enthusiasm, humor, and dedication General Knight brings to the table. General Knight, you've been a tireless advocate for Vermont's soldiers, airmen, and their families, always putting people first and never losing sight of why we serve. Through it all, you kept that classic Vermont perspective that serving with this team sure beats working for a living. Let's take a moment to absorb what this team has accomplished together under your leadership.
Supportive of all of our Baltic NATO allies.
Careful.
You have reached your destination.
You guys see our guy here on the left. Welcome, everybody. What a tremendous day for us. It's a tremendous day for our Guard, and I'm certainly proud to be a part of it. Of all the people we recognize today, our leaders, our supporters, our community stakeholders, by far the most significant attendees today are our airmen.
Major General Greg Knight here. Welcome to TAG's Corner. I continue to be proud and amazed by the incredible work of our service members. Despite the easing of restrictions and the lifting of mask mandates, the fight's not over. New waves of the Delta variant are popping up all over the globe. If you've been on the fence about getting vaccinated, now is the time. I encourage you to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your team from this virus. Thank you, and until next time, stay safe and put the Vermonters ahead.
Might often prevails over right. But it was then that General Ethan Allen responded with, "The gods of the valleys are not the gods of the hills." You know, for decades, soldiers have come from all over the country and our partners from all over the world to train here, to learn the military mountaineering skills that our Army Mountain Warfare School instructors provide. Every student from every branch of the military and from our international partners experiencing the hard, realistic training offered by some of the best cadre in the world carry with them a piece of Vermont. They earn it.
So we've been partners here with North Macedonia for 33 years, and I would tell you that the professionalism, the development, the interoperability focus, becoming a NATO ally 4 years ago, just gives you an idea of the trend line and their progression and professionalism and excellence as an Army. We've been with Senegal for 12 years, and it's been a great partnership for us because it's mutually beneficial. So it helps both organizations, both militaries, build readiness. I'll give you as an example, in May we did a medical readiness exercise, and over the period of 9 days, working with their Senegalese medical counterparts, they saw 540 patients doing a bowel resection on a 2-day-old infant, and during that procedure, an E5 in the Air Guard, that young airman was able to breathe for the infant for 20 minutes of the procedure. And she just recently graduated from nursing school. You can't make that up. You're not going to do that at home.
Thank you for this excellent ceremony. In recognition of the 1-year anniversary of the partnership between Austria and the Vermont National Guard. Through these exchanges, like today's exchange between our 2 fighter wings, we not only work together, but we also learn together, get to know each other. When we stand shoulder to shoulder as partners, we are mighty and powerful indeed.
Understand the work that you're doing here is critically important, and I'm talking at the highest level. So Vermont's in a good spot. We're good with our F-35. But in my role, we can't forget the rest of the Air National Guard. Because we have states right now that are in jeopardy of losing their flying mission. But if I can articulate what you're doing here as one example and say we are more efficient and we're better, and here's why. Now we've got a better argument to recapitalize more aircraft sooner within the Air National Guard and take care of our sister states.
We're going to have to be nimble, and in instances like we see here, the decisive action concept, we're going to have to fight both. What you may have is a very specific force-on-force fight can very quickly change to a counterinsurgency mission. You make yourself better in this type of challenging environment, because the more you train here and the more you learn, the less you're going to learn more painfully overseas in real conflict. We have to be able to apply everything that we learn here and be that nimble combat force on the ground and in the air. That we've seen, in my view, great strides. It's a greater understanding of each organization, and it amplifies our lethality and our warfighting functions.
Would Governor Scott and Major General Knight please come to center stage for the presentation of the Distinguished Service Medal? Attention to orders. The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress July 9, 1918, has awarded the Distinguished Service Medal to Major General Gregory C. Knight, United States Army, for exceptionally meritorious service to the government in duties of great responsibility over a 43-year career, culminating as the Adjutant General of Vermont. Major General Knight's distinguished himself through exemplary leadership, unwavering dedication, and lifelong commitment to service. His resolute leadership and steadfast commitment for fellow service members, the nation, and international partners were instrumental in achieving numerous strategic and operational successes. His visionary approach to readiness, resource management, and warfighter support ensured Vermont's soldiers and airmen remained fully prepared during one of the most demanding periods in National Guard history. Respected for his leadership in international security cooperation, he advanced Vermont's state partnership program, expanding its scope through deepened engagements with North Macedonia, Senegal, and Austria. His direct involvement in diplomatic acumen transformed the program into a model of multinational, whole-of-society cooperation. Through his command presence, collective spirit, collaborative spirit, and focus on mission readiness, Major General Knight enhanced the effectiveness and institutional strength of the Vermont National Guard, providing capable and resilient forces for state and federal missions. Major General Knight's distinctive accomplishments are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the Vermont Army National Guard, and the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. General Knight will receive a number of awards and recognitions today for his long and exemplary service to his state and nation. Unfortunately, we cannot publicly announce all of them, or this ceremony would be considerably longer. A few will be noted, and any that are not will be presented at his retirement reception. On behalf of Senator Bernie Sanders, General Knight is presented with a flag flown over the United States Capitol in honor of his retirement and years of dedicated service to Vermont and the country. From the New York National Guard, General Knight was awarded the New York Conspicuous Service Medal and Gift. Would Brigadier General Finnegan please come forward to present the Joint Forces gift to General Knight?
Before I start, can I get a round of applause for our public affairs who put together that amazing? It's huge. Good afternoon, everyone. And sir, I know, as has already been said, there'll be many gifts presented this evening. But on behalf of the Joint Staff, we wanted to give you one that we hope will stay close to you as you move into military retirement. It's a small framed piece, similar to many you've given and received over the years, but I'd like to briefly explain. Sir, soldiers and airmen of all ranks had the opportunity to meet with you in your office during your tenure as TAG. And I truly mean all ranks. Your open door policy, often at the expense of your own time, was something we all tried to model. You would meet with anyone, anytime, anywhere, if it meant improving the circumstances of even just one person, or strengthening the organization as a whole, or anywhere in between. And that commitment was inspiring to all of us. Now, if you had a scheduled meeting with General Knight, at some point in that meeting, you were likely going to hear a story. And if the conversation involved geopolitics, leadership, culture, the Vermont Air Guard, the Vermont Army Guard, that story would often go back to one that he could best tell by referencing a large tactical grid map of Ramadi that hung on the wall in his office. Anyone who walked in immediately saw that map. No frame, just a 4 by 4 foot desert map printed on the wall, like something you'd see in an operations center. Slightly out of place, but it was always right there where he could see it. And over time, as any good staff does, we studied your leadership. And through your stories, it became very clear how your deployment at a time when Vermont was sacrificing so very much shaped the way you lead. It fueled your relentless commitment to the personal and professional development of every soldier and airman, and frankly, every person that you met, especially if you had a chance to recruit them, as the governor has already said. So, sir, wherever your next office is, and we expect that there will be one, they're probably not going to appreciate a 4 by 4 foot desert map hanging on the wall. But fortunately, our outstanding public affairs team has created a smaller, exact replica of that map. This was signed and plaqued only by the soldiers who served with you there, many of whom are still serving in the Vermont Army National Guard on your final day of office. And our hope is that when you look at this map, it won't just remind you of your service in Ramadi. We hope it reminds you of your service to us all and how grateful we are for it. Godspeed and God bless General Knight.
Thank you, General Finnegan. Please rise for the reading of the official retirement order. Attention to orders. Certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that Major General Gregory C. Knight, Army National Guard of the United States, having served faithfully and honorably, will be retired from the United States Army effective 31 March 2026. Chief McDonald of the United States Coast Guard, please come forward.
Just get situated here. Give me just a second. All right. As the ship's bell rings, we recognize the decades General Knight has faithfully served this nation and this service. General Gregory C. Knight has stood the watch through calm seas and heavy weather. He has led with courage, upheld the core values, and strengthened the Coast Guard to those who follow. Bosun, pipe. General Knight, you are hereby relieved of your watch. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and a grateful nation, thank you for your steadfast leadership and unwavering devotion to duty. May you enjoy fair winds, following seas, and the pride of a mission well accomplished.
Thank you, Chief McDonald. Ladies and gentlemen, tradition dictates that the soldiers and airmen would render a final salute to their commander. Instead, Major General Knight would like to render a final salute to the soldiers and airmen of the Vermont National Guard as a sign of respect. Please join us in singing the Army and Air Force songs by following along with the music in your programs and the departure of the official party. After the conclusion of the military songs, please congratulate Major General Harder and his family at the front of the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our change of command and retirement ceremonies. On behalf of the Governor of Vermont and the Vermont National Guard, thank you for attending. Please rise for the departure of the official party.